Welcome back to On Point, Middle America edition. James, one Derby points race this weekend, was supposed to be two. Someone's going to do something a little different with its 3-year-old stake, but the Rebel, 14 horses, and I expect we're going to learn a lot about whoever emerges from this race.
Yeah, definitely. There's a bunch of the horses from the Southwest and Smarty Jones are back, including Suddenbreakingnews and Discreetness and Whitmore and those types. And then there's some new shooters in there, namely Baffert has Cupid, Asmussen has Caveat, Romans has Cherry Wine. So it's an exciting betting race. 14 horses, 12 betting interest, and all three of their preps have had full contentious fields, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I expect more of the same for the $1 Million Arkansas Derby, which I'll be there. You'll be at the Louisiana Derby next week, so getting into the 100-point season. And this is, can't say the last 50-point race because there's a spiral, but the last one on dirt. And really things in earnest ramp up with the 100-point races. Got a stat for you. You mentioned Cupid, one of several. Actually, there's only 3 stakes winners in the field, but many other stakes performers. They run against each other. But Cupid has the last out best Brisnet speed rating. Mm-hmm. What percentage of 3-year-old stakes races at Oaklawn routing in the last 3 years do you think have been won by the last out best speed rating?
25?
No,
30?
40. 40%, so definitely a pretty gaudy number.
Yeah.
Do you think Cupid's going to be favored?
Yeah, Cupid's, well, I don't know if he's going to be favored. I do think that, it's going to be tight between, with Baffert having so much success at Oaklawn Park, he's obviously going to get bed down just on that
favorite
factor.
The last 2.
Absolutely. And
didn't run a
with
step.
Collected and Taze on Ice.
Yeah.
And, Cupid has that number. He also has a 111 late pace rating from that. And, for me, he fits the profile a little bit of like a Bodemeister,
right,
with the exception of the fact that he did run at 2 in that he's making his stakes debut in the next to last prep. And it's either going to be him or Suddenbreakingnews or Whitmore. Those three, one of those three will be the favorite.
Yeah, interesting. In the recently concluded future poll, Suddenbreakingnews, the overwhelming favorite among those 3, and actually American Dubai was in that pool too, but he was more than 100 to 1. But I'm not so sure. It definitely won't be that spread out in this race. I could see Cupid favored, probably be Suddenbreakingnews, but nevertheless interesting. I'm going in a completely different direction though. I need to get qualified for the dream bet, and I probably should just take the chalk at this point to give myself the best chance. I can't resist Sliding Spring for Mark Casse, though, getting major post relief. I'm not sold on how much speed is going to be in this race. I didn't really, even though a deep closer won last time, Sliding Spring went way too fast from an outside post. Hopefully you can work out a better trip this time. I think we're going to get a great price. And speaking of trainers, Mark Casse came into this year, Aero Force, Conquest Big E. He was the talk of the town in terms of trainers and 3-year-olds. Maybe this is the one to finally step up for him. I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah, he didn't quit. He didn't quit. I thought, he got tired, but I think he was 4th or 5th in that race.
Yeah,
and that considering he was on that pace, and Whitmore and Suddenbreakingnews were just way, they were like at the very tail of the field, even on the far turn. That was a solid effort to build upon. I could see that angle with Sliding Spring. That he gets a good post, and so does Cupid, and that's like a drawback with both Whitmore and Suddenbreakingnews have got outside posts.
Outside,
they might be like deep closers looking to drop in, but I think ideally their connections would rather establish, positioning more, towards the middle back of the pack than being forced to drop all the way back.
So who you got?
I got Cupid. I'm going with Baffert and Cupid. I really like that Colts potential.
All right, well, he certainly has looked good. Not normally one to fawn over the grays, but the pictures from Cody this week, and check out our Instagram page. We've put a few up, but he's definitely something to look at. You did mention Collected earlier, the Sham Stakes winner shipped to Oaklawn. Didn't do too well. Gettysburg shipped up to Tampa Bay, didn't do too well. Both beaten favorites in stakes races last out. They show up in the Sunland race, and the Sham form hasn't been that great leaving California. I do think, though, that this Sunland bunch isn't near as deep as some of the races the sham horses have gone to since, and I'm on Collected in that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right, and even Doug O'Neill, he's got Found Money, who ran fourth in that Collected race and is running a bunch of stakes, over the winter. So, Baffert, O'Neill, Pletcher, all three of those horses, I think, will get some action. And one thing they all have in common is they like to run on or close to the pace. And in a 12-horse field, that race just seems to me to have a lot of pace in it. I think it's going to be hot and contested, and it's Concord Fast is going to be tested for class for sure. But I really liked his win in the Mind That Bird. He got a triple-digit Brisley pace number, and I think the race is going to set up for him. And if he's like the third or fourth choice, I could see taking a stab at him.
Sure, I think he'll be fourth choice. I see no reason why those the shipping in barns won't take all the money. So.
Right.
Concord Fast for you. I'll stick with Collected, so we do have the C's and the race covered. But an interesting race, a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon watching who makes it to the Sweet 16. And I guess on that note, who you got winning it all? And
No, I've got the Cats. I'm on
it's
Kentucky.
All right, Michigan State for me. I'm going to be a homer too and go with the Big Ten. But enjoy the games, enjoy the races. We'll talk to you next week and send James off to Louisiana in style.